All right, it is Saturday night. The Heisman Trophy presented on ESPN. We also got Army Navy. Stick in there with us. Matt DeBerry. Who should win the Heisman this season? Who should be the winner of that trophy?
It should be Jay Daniels. He's been the best player in college football this season. We've seen, Lamar Jackson win a Heisman Trophy with his team had 3 losses. Kind of an anomaly or an outlier, whatever the word fits best there in that sentence. But I think Jay Daniels has been the best player in college football. His numbers are up there with Joe Burrow's. Dude's been phenomenal, and that offense has almost been unstoppable. They've got a completely trash defense, Ryan, that's really not helped him out much, but it's allowed him to throw for 4 quarters all he wants, and he's been able to put up big time numbers. I wish he could be an Atlanta Falcon. I'd be totally cool with that. Very, very good player. He's been the best player in college football. He would get my vote.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that he won it by default with what happened with the Pac-12 championship. I think that if Penix had like a huge day and maybe had a big moment, that it would maybe be enough to swing voters there at the end. I don't think it was enough, and I think Bo Nix kind of just lost it there by not winning that game because it'll be the last thing that people remember. My real only thing with Jaden Daniels, because it's not the losses, right? He doesn't play defense, and that's not all on him. Is that he didn't have a Heisman moment. It didn't feel like he had a significant moment throughout the year. And if it's the 8 touchdown game against Georgia State, then don't talk to me about that because whatever. That's impressive, but that's not your Heisman moment. And I think about the other quarterbacks that were similar, where they had crazy years. They weren't on team. They were on teams that lost 3 or 4 games. These RG3, Johnny Manziel, Lamar Jackson, they all had huge moments against big programs where everyone was watching them play. Johnny with Alabama that year. RG3 did that a couple primetime games. I can't remember, but they were primetime
It
games
was a
where a
really
lot of people were
Washington game, but
watching.
that was after the fact.
And then Lamar Jackson against Florida State, the boat race Florida State that year. And then obviously played really, really well against Clemson. That was a big game for him as well. But Jane Daniels didn't have that crazy moment, and that is my real qualm with the thing.
How many touchdowns did he score against Florida? I know it's Florida, but didn't he just absolutely crush them? And I'll give you. I don't think there was a moment per se or one particular throw or play, but I think that game, and I remember thinking, okay, he's got this wrapped up here. 6 touchdowns, Dean, something like that. It was a crazy game, and I think that was enough for me personally. And even watching Washington and Oregon, in my opinion, I wasn't sure if Bo Nix could have won me over no matter what he did in that game. It would have had to do a lot. But I remember that Florida game, and I could be completely wrong. I don't remember where I watched it, but I remember thinking Jane Daniel, I think, won the Heisman tonight.
All right, so against the Knowles, he really was not unbelievable. Touchdown, interception, not even 60%. But from that point forward, this guy he scores 4 total touchdowns against Mississippi State, 4 touchdowns against the Hogs, 5 touchdowns against Mississippi, 4 touchdowns against Missouri. He was quite good in that game too. Against Auburn, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns against Army, 3 touchdowns against Bama. But I feel like he got hurt in that game.
Well,
Yes.
he's playing like a madman, running into, jumping, leaping into defenders.
He did that a lot, which was my concern. I think I texted one of y'all, or I said Jaden Daniels is actually going to die on the field at some point here. 5 touchdowns against the Gators, and then another 4 against A&M. Look, as a voter, I don't discuss who it is beforehand, but you take a look at him, Nix, Penix, Marvin Harrison. I'm trying to follow the argument for Marvin Harrison. The thing I've learned as a Heisman voter over the last 20-ish years is that I think this is year 18 or 19, is that everybody wants to give you their vote, but it's your vote, and you have to do whatever you feel like is the right move for you. I did not ever vote Tim Tebow number 1 because in 7, when he won it, the running back at Arkansas was a pure freak, and I had Tim at 2. I think I had Deshaun. Well, I had Deshaun behind Lamar Jackson, which I don't feel bad about at all. I did not have Vince Young number 1. I think who won it that year? Reggie Bush? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he did.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's whatever the 1,000-ish voters want, and it can be whatever they want, Ryan. I mean, it's in the eye of the beholder, and it doesn't matter what anybody wants. You're saying, well, there was no moment. I got to just, I'll throw it back to y'all, but Ryan, I don't think there has been no moment in college football yet that I recall necessarily. And then B, there's this has not been like the last couple years of college football. There's not a superpower in the sport right now, or this season. There's not a superpower team. So that kind of takes away, there wasn't Stetson or Joe Burrow or even, Devonta Smith or, I can't remember who won it in 2018. Somebody can rescue me on that one. But
Kyler Murray. We had this conversation the other day.
Kyler Murray. See, what did he do? So go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I would give it to Jayden Daniels. My biggest issue with the whole thing is Marvin Harrison Jr. being there.
Oh, go ahead. Beat
I mean, yeah. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. He's one of the best wide receivers I've ever seen. He's legit. He's going to be a really good player in the NFL. He's going to be a top 3 pick. There are other receivers with better numbers out there. There were other receivers that also made a pretty big impact. I get how good he is, and I think this is a vote off of just popularity and obviously what he is as a prospect. And if we're playing that game, and you want to play that game, you want to talk about Brock Bowers too. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, because clearly with Marvin Harrison, it wasn't about numbers. It was just about how good the guy is. So it almost turns into the playoff stuff where, what's your opinion about this? Best 4, most deserving 4, all that. But I kind of feel like this Heisman turned into that.
Weren't last year's 4 Heisman finalists Stetson, Max Duggan, C.J. Stroud, and Caleb Williams? I mean, that's a pretty good, foursome.
That was fine. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to really. I don't know if you can really say that this year as much. This was the most watched year of college football ever. For people who say, well, I don't, it's not very good anymore. Well, the public disagrees with you, but I will say that this year, in terms of the individual players, we don't have that yet, Matt. And we got to get to Army Navy here in a second, but it's not there.
Yeah, I think Jaylen Milro's throw against Auburn is probably the biggest moment of the season.
Yes.
Of course, he played like that for the first half or first 75% of the season. And he didn't even play that great against Auburn. He had a lot of dumb mental errors.
He didn't do that against Georgia and have dumb errors. He made big plays when he had to make big plays in both those games.
And the numbers weren't great against Georgia, but context matters. And if you watched him make some of the throws that he had to make, he looked like a guy that probably should be up for the Heisman if he played like that all season, but he didn't. And now you go back to, well, who's done it better all season? It's probably Jayden Daniels, to me.
Army, Navy, our nation's game. I don't think somehow Michigan's not involved in our nation's game. The United States Military Academy is a 3-point underdog, Ryan, to Navy. I can't remember where this game is played. So 3-point dog, take it away.
I'm going to go Army. I think that they're playing better right now. I think that they've beaten some pretty good college football teams. A 62-piece got put on their head by LSU. That's no fun, but we were just talking about the reason for that for an extended period of time there. This game is not for everyone. You want to watch a lot of option. You don't want to watch passing football. That's what it is. It goes by quick. But it's always a lot of fun, I feel like. I feel like a lot of times it's pretty entertaining. But I'm going to go Army. Neither of these teams are very good, both 5 and 6. But I've got the black and gold. They look cooler out there. I'm putting that a little bit into this.
Yeah, I've been to this game before, and it was awesome. It was one of the best sports experiences I've ever been. 2005 in Philadelphia, one of the coldest nights ever. The day Georgia beat LSU in that SEC championship game. I was in Philadelphia. Navy won that game. I think they're going to win this one again because I know some of the coaches on the Navy staff from Kennesaw State, so I still keep up with those guys. pulling for Navy. I think Army might be a little better of a team. I hope my guys at Navy aren't watching this video. I know they usually watch our videos. Hope they miss out on this one. But give me Navy, Danny Payne, Coach Volker, all my guys. Let's go. Navy. Go Navy, beat Army is what they say.
Great. Do y'all have Navy people in your family? My family's all Army people.
I had Army in mine.
Yeah.
Fisher DeBerry was the head coach at Air Force. Not related, but
he's not your dog. That's your dog's name.
Barry, and so is the old Air Force coach's name. No relation, but I always thought that was pretty cool.
The only relation to me right now is my son knocking on the door because we've been going too long, apparently. I will take the Black Knights. I will take Army as well. It's a great game. It's one of the most watched games in college football. It will not hit Georgia-Bama level, but it is one of the most watched games. These guys are really sacrificing, so thank you to them for all that they do and will do in the country. Hey, we'll see y'all in the next video. I have to go apparently make pancakes right now.